What we're going to look at now is how to structure that page using CSS. So at the moment I've got a very ordinary web page with just the standard layout. So if I have a look at my code, there's no attributes of the heading tag or the paragraph tag that adds layout. There's even no attributes of the body tag that gives me any idea what my layout's going to be. So what I've done here is I've created a new CSS document, and at the moment it doesn't really have much in it to lay out the page. But what we're going to do is set some parameters around what those different tags look like. So for example, I'm going to have my H1 tag, I'm going to have my H2 tag, and I'm going to set out the paragraph tag as well. Now, because these are just defined as tags already in my HTML, and all I'm doing is actually changing the style attributes of that tag, all I need to do is I need to put everything that I want to do within these squiggly brackets. Everything that relates then to the H1 tag will appear between these brackets. Now, I'm just going to change a simple tag of H1. Now, because I'm really lazy and I can't remember what my tags are, if I just type in, for example, in this case, I want the font, I really want the font family. So I just click on that and hit return. Now, obviously, if you were doing this in Notepad, you would have to write them out. Now, the advantage of doing font family is that it specifies a series of fonts. So what that means is if your computer has Verdana on it, it will give you Verdana. If it not, it will give you Geneva, if not sans serif, and so forth. So what that means is that there's a definite list of things that prioritize through or cascade through where each one would have priority over the other. Now that's an advantage in web design because your fonts don't travel with computers, with your websites. So if your computer doesn't have that font on it, then obviously it's not going to show and it's just going to default to whatever standard font is for H1. Now after every line we need a semicolon to differentiate the next command. So in this case now I'm just going to quickly change the background color so we can have a look at a real change in the font that we're not probably going to see just with changing the font family. So I'm just going to change it to this horrible blue color, and I'm going to, surprisingly the code for that is kind of looks like off. And I'm just going to add the semicolon there. So my H1 technically should change to that horrible blue color and to a different font. Now if I go back to sample HTML, you'll notice straight away it doesn't do that. Very simple reason is because I haven't linked these two files yet. Now, first of all, I need to save this file, so I'm going to save as onto my desktop in my website folder. So I'm going to call this not untitled1, but I'm going to call this just style.css. Okay, save. Now, if I go here to my sample.html, I can do this one of two ways. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go across to my CSS style menu here, and I'm going to refresh. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on the link thing here that says attach style sheet. Now, I'm going to attach that style sheet. I'm going to select the one that I just created, which is style.css. Now, it'll give me two options. I can link it or I can import it. Now, the best thing to do here, ultimately, the best thing is to link it, because what that means is that you can have 6 or 7 or 600 or 700 files that are all linked to the one CSS document. So that means that if you change that CSS document, then it will automatically update all of those files. So obviously that's of huge benefit. If it was something small that you were doing that you only really wanted to use that one page, then you can import it. Now, obviously, you can actually code this from scratch yourself, but I would have had to have looked up what the code for that was anyway. Now, basically, it's link href equals style.css. So you notice that's the we use the same almost tag attribute as a anchor. But instead of linking it to, or anchoring it to, so we're going to visit it, is actually just linking it. And because it's in the head, that means that that page will not show on the body. It's actually just information about where you're going to get that style sheet from. The relationship here is that it's a style sheet and its type is a CSS style sheet. So that's really important. You'll notice that similar to the image tag, you've got this end tag within the link tag itself, which ends it off automatically because it's not wrapping. So if we go to the design view now, you'll notice that horrible blue and also that H1. Now, if I change stuff here, say for example, I change my mind and I add a background color again, and I make it this lovely red color. Now, I've forgotten to delete my previous color, so let's have a look and see what sort of change that will make. If I hit save and I go back here, you'll notice that straight away it's that red color. The reason for that is cascading style sheets are meant to cascade. So basically it will do this one, and then it will do this one, and then it will do this one. So the order that you have it in is actually really important. Now this is important particularly, here you don't notice much difference, but particularly when you're having multiple style sheets attached to one page. Because if I have multiple style sheets here, if I link another style sheet, then I might inherit some of the attributes from each style sheet.